Resumed the search for Kenya's next Chief Justice after a weekend off. Today was the Employment and Labor Relations Court Judge Justice Nduma Nderi's turn to appear before the JSC, but Nderi's confession that his service as a Crown Counsel and President of the Industrial Court of Swaziland followed death threats that sent him into exile appeared to have turned against him as JSC commissioners put him to task. Musa Salah begins our program.
The search for Chief Justice entered its sixth day as the Judicial Service Commission resumed its interviews of the remaining 5 shortlisted candidates for the position.
Differentiation.
Employment and Labor Relations Court Judge Justice Nduma Nderi sat on the hot seat as the panel gauged his ability and plan of action as President of the Supreme Court.
We've come a long way. And with that in mind, I would never ever wish that for anyone and for Kenya that would ever see that happen again to anyone. And that is a note which will give me impetus and focus to uphold justice for all.
Nderi has over 31 years of experience in law, and it was expected that his cumulative 13 years as Crown Counsel and President of the Industrial Court of Swaziland would give him an edge as he defended his application.
Does it have a law, and if so, which one?
But his confession that death threats drove him into exile in Swaziland caused an uproar among the JSC commissioners, the panel questioning Nderi's ability to withstand intimidation.
A few things happened which at that time shaped my mind to leave the country, including, after that, very fierce whole-day cross-examination Senior Superintendent Mashiri, who is well known, giving threats to me personally in the corridors.
Simply because you are called to the office of the DCI.
If you knew who Senior Superintendent Mashiri was, if you interacted with the...
There are more of them currently.
If
so
you knew, Commissioner, with what was happening at that time of our history, and having received real threats in the corridors of this justice, this corridors of this court.
So, is Chief Justice Nduma Nderi a person who is, every time he's intimidated or threatened, is likely to leave the jurisdiction of the country?
Not at all, Chairman. I'm very courageous. I'm absolutely courageous.
Justice Nderi has been celebrated as the workers' messiah in the country. In his most famous defense of workers in 30th June 2015, Nderi awarded teachers a 50 to 60% increment on their basic salary against the government's will. It is this ruling that led the JSC panel to question his impartiality as the commission struggled to understand Justice Nderi's past judgments.
In spite of all the evidence that was submitted by all these economists, by these specialists, you still ignored all that and went ahead and gave 50 to 60% award. You are not looking at the bigger picture. You are looking at the rights, yes, of one section of the society, but ignoring the bigger picture. I mean, how would that work, if I may ask?
We had the evidence from the economists. We had counter evidence from the workers. We had reports from SRC. We had agreements at 50, 60%. During negotiations, I actually implemented what had been agreed upon, but reneged upon after SRC intervened. There was already an agreement at 50, 60% by parties, both parties.
Senior Counsel Fred Ngatia will face the JSC panel tomorrow, trimming the number of shortlisted candidates yet to appear before the commission to 3 as the JSC concludes the interviews on Friday.
The same issue you are talking about
Born 64 years ago in Laikipia County, Ngatia holds 2 master's degrees and an aggregate of 41 years of experience in the legal profession. Ngatia's landmark case at the Supreme Court in 2018, which led to the abolishment of mandatory death sentence, rescued over 4,000 prisoners facing death sentences. It is this fierce Supreme Court battle that saw him ranked one of the top dispute resolution lawyers in the country. Should he be successful in the interview, Ngatia will become the second CJ to be appointed from outside the judiciary after retired CJ Dr. Willy Mutunga.
Page 116.
However, his advocate-client relationship with acting Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, who is also a commissioner in the JSC, has been questioned, with senior counsel Philip Murgor, who closed the first round of interviews last week, claiming that Mwilu may favor Ngatia in the search for CJ.
Rule you are talking about, my lord?
Musa Salah, TV 47.
I believe I have come across